South Africa, Brand South Africa is the official marketing agency for South Africa. So we might have South Africa's company. Actually, I will be giving you the South Africa's global reputation study results. So why does Brand South Africa exist? Countries are constantly in competition for a shared voice in a crowded global market, and we are fighting for investment, we're fighting for trade, we're fighting to have exports and then tourism in our country. So the above are easily influenced by perception and reputation. So Brand South Africa's role in this instance is to create a positive and compelling brand image for South Africa, both domestically and internationally. So Brand South Africa's role is to manage the country's nation brand and reputation, and also issues that are impacting South Africa. So we're assessing this global reputation and domestical reputation by assessing citizens' needs through perception measurements. And we look domestically, we look at nation pride, which is how proud are you to be a South African. We look at active citizenship, how active are you with the communities that you live around. And we look at social cohesion. Social cohesion, we look at it at a horizontal social cohesion and vertical social cohesion. From myself to the government and also myself to the people around me. Right? This is the domestic perception study that we do. I want this slide too. We also have what we call the global reputation study. Now this is us moving from South Africa to other countries. As part of Brand South Africa's mandate to monitor and enhance South Africa's nation brand reputation in collaboration with the government, the business, and civil society, the organization conducts what we call the Global Reputation Study, research that assesses the country's reputation and its competitiveness in key strategic markets. We look at 17 markets, which is the Americas, the Europe, Asia, and Africa. Africa, we are looking at Ghana, Kenya, Egypt, and Botswana. We look at the 5 dimensions, which is tourism, investment, exports, talent, and the general reputation of the country. Talent, we are looking at South Africa as a place to come and study, and South Africa as a place to come and work. This study goes out to 9,800 online international surveys, and we benchmark ourselves against 9 competitors. The survey employs a desired rank of perception set at 3.5. We call it the love mark, the point where a nation can be considered to have a strong brand. So if you see the perception score close to 3.5, above 3.5, then we consider our nation to be having a strong nation brand. The methodology of the survey, we have what I just explained with the quantitative survey that goes out to 17 markets. We also have a digital demand, which measures South Africa's brand digital appeal and also measures South Africa's digital footprint. So while we were doing this survey, asking questions on exports, investment, prominence, tourism, work, and study. We noticed that 5 out of 6 key dimensions were improving in 2025 compared to the study that we did in 2022, which is exports, investment, tourism, work, and study, all recorded growth. So people are showing interest in South Africa for the study that we did in 2025. So now there are activities, actions that we do outside our country borders that actually affect, that play a significant role in shaping the current image of your own country. And at this instance, we had the peacekeeping efforts that we did. We had the G20 presidency in South Africa. We also had the genocide intent. And we went out, we went out and said to the respondent, but then how do the following activities that South Africa engaged in, how do they affect your willingness to come to South Africa? How do they affect your perceptions about our country? And we noted that most of the activities that we do across, they were actually positive. They said that because we had the G20 presidency, now we have a much more interest to be in Africa, to be in South Africa. And then the peacekeeping efforts, it shows that you care about other people, even that those that are not within your borders. And this actually, we would like to be part of the activities that are happening around South Africa. It's only if the yellow part, it's those that said, you know what, this efforts, activities, they don't play a significant role in my decision to or interest in your country. So the nation brand taxonomy model, it has 13 elements that constitute to the general perception of a nation. So we look at the 13 elements, which is education system, natural assets and sceneries, rural environment, sports, culture, heritage, products and services. We've got safety and crime, well-being and health, foreign affairs and governance and internal policies. So could you rate South Africa in terms of this 13 elements? This is where the 3.5 now comes in. And because of this element, South Africa now has a strong nation brand. We are comparing 2 years, the 2024 study and the 2025 study. And we can see that for the 2025 study, actually, almost all the elements, they have improved. However, we have the disabler, which is safety and crime. People say, but I don't feel safe in South Africa, there's too much crime, there's this element is now giving me a problem. If I think of South Africa, I think of my safety, which is the red one that's there. But then even this one, for 2024, it was at 2.3, and it moved up to 2.4 in 2025. So there was an improvement even for the disabler, which is safety and crime. Nation brand perception, it varies depending on your level of familiarity, which is why we saw the importance for us to come and present this study. So nation marketing, it's on demand. But the nation branding, it's mainly on perception. Perception, it's based on influence. You've read about South Africa, you've seen South Africa on the TV, the social media, but then you've never really experienced the country. So there are those that rate us in terms of influence, and then there are those that rate us in terms of the experience that they've had in our country. With this said, this is the image that we have. Now that you have experienced the country, the perception elements, they saw a shift to say that, but then even the safety and crime that was in the red for the past one. But then it's not like I'm not dead, I'm not safe in South Africa. There's people walking around with guns on the street. It's not as bad as I see it on the social media and on TV. Now that you've experienced the country, can we move to those who have? This is now the perception element of those who have not experienced the country and they've only read about us on the newspapers and saw us on TV. You can see that the perception elements, they go down. I'm not going to go deep into markets. The markets, I can say that for our countries in Africa, we are doing very well, and this is because we mostly can relate to each other. In terms of values, in terms of culture, in terms of most other things. So we are doing very well in Africa and the Middle East, which is the next slide. We are doing very well in the Middle East. However, we are not doing well in the next slide, which is Asia. And Asia, as I said, perception is mostly on influence and experience, but then Asia, remember, for you to be influenced, you're supposed to understand the language that the content is being put out in. So the language barrier between us and Asia, it's the most contribute to us not having this. And the Americans and the Europeans, we are not doing that well. We need to work on that relationship between South Africa and the Americans. So now, top of mind association. When you think of South Africa, and I'm excited for tomorrow's agenda, which is tourism. When you think of top of mind association, when you think of South Africa, what first comes to mind? And for the 3 years, the blue one is 2022, 2024, and 2025. People are saying, you know what, when I think of South Africa, I think of the wildlife, I think of beauty, I think of Nelson Mandela, I think of safari, I think of the culture, which is why we are excited to have you here, to have you experience us, to have you go for a tourism and see all this that excites people coming to our country. Can we move to the next slide? So, natural resources, tourism, and agriculture are the key industries of South Africa, recognized by international audience. So, industries that are recognized by international audience, for the 3 years, we've had natural resources, tourism, and agriculture coming up at the top as the top 3. We benchmarked ourselves against the competitors. Can you go to the next slide? This again, I'm going to explain the influence and perception. South Africa now, for this group that has not experienced South Africa, it's ranking for tourism, it's ranking number 6. And then for prominence, it's also ranking number 6. But then once they experience, can you see the next picture? Once they experience South Africa, it now shifts to number 4 in the tourism, and then number 3 in prominence. So this is us saying we are happy to have you here. We are happy to come and to have you experience our country, and we hope that your perception about our country before visiting us and now that you are here, it improves as well. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause for Mr. Olebogeng. So we truly appreciate the role which Brand SA does, because they are really the brand ambassadors of our country. If we're about to enter someone's territory, it's always best to hear from them what life is like, what is there, what's the situation, and to not really hear from whoever is going to be tweeting about what's happening in a certain country. So we appreciate Brand South Africa for always ensuring that the tourists, they know the business people, they know, they give them a full overview of the situation in South Africa, the opportunities which are there. They are doing a very sterling job. Everywhere you go, all around the world, you will see Brand South Africa. Not long ago, I was in Ethiopia and I saw a very large banner there by the airport with Brand South Africa. And it's the same which you find, any South African related activity, you go to the UK, you go to the UAE, you really find Brand South Africa showing South Africa's visibility.
Donc, pour une rapide compréhension, si vous le permettez, pour les francophones, Brand South Africa est une agence du ministère du Tourisme qui, de manière générale, travaille à bâtir l'image de l'Afrique du Sud en tant que pays. Donc, leur travail, c'est de faire des études, de faire des recherches, de développer des projets qui emmènent à avoir une meilleure perception de l'Afrique du Sud, essentiellement destinés à des partenaires étrangers qui viennent visiter l'Afrique du Sud pour améliorer le ressenti en ce qui concerne les différents secteurs, le tourisme, les investissements, les questions de criminalité. L'idée ici, c'est de donner la meilleure image possible de l'Afrique du Sud à l'extérieur. Et donc, c'est un travail qu'ils font non pas seulement pour l'Afrique du Sud, mais aussi pour d'autres pays. On nous a dit que dans la présentation, ils travaillent avec 5 autres pays africains, entre autres. Ce serait peut-être d'essayer de voir pour l'intérêt, entre autres, des ambassades et des autres institutions qui travaillent, de quelle manière s'établit cette collaboration entre Brand South Africa et les autres pays africains. But then we're just going to focus on one of the key points that you shared. This work that you do for South Africa as Brand South Africa, we understood that you provide the same capacity for other countries. Is that right? You highlighted that there are other 5 countries in Africa that you collaborate with. Is that right?
No, there are 5 countries that we in Africa that we go to for this global reputation study and benchmark ourselves against this country.
Oh, okay. So how does it, is it a collaboration with those countries?
We do collaborate with not just 5 countries in South Africa, we collaborate with a lot of countries in South Africa in terms of investment, in terms of exports, in terms of just exchanging bilateral resources in other countries.
Yeah, just for the sake of the ambassadors, amongst other things, to understand how can this collaboration can be initiated. Do they reach out to you? Do you reach out to specific countries?
We do work with the DECO, the Department of
International Relations.
And we also work with the Department of the DTIC and Brand South Africa. These 3 departments, they work together. So if you reach out to DECO, you reach out to the DTIC, and also reach out, you can also reach out to Brand South Africa. Then we will connect you to the relevant people that you need to speak to in terms of investment, in terms of trade, and other things that you need.
Donc de manière générale, ce travail de collaboration entre les autres pays et Brand SA qui représente l'Afrique du Sud se fait sur tous les continents. Il travaille de manière étroite avec DIACO, le ministère des Relations internationales et de la coopération de l'Afrique du Sud, de la même manière en ce qui concerne les questions d'investissement avec le ministère du Commerce, de l'Industrie et de la Compétition. Donc la manière la plus simple, essentiellement en ce qui concerne les ambassades, pour entrer en contact avec eux et voir de quelle manière il serait possible d'établir une collaboration, ce serait certainement de prendre contact par le biais de DIACO à travers une note verbale, et ils seront à même de les contacter et de vous mettre en contact avec les personnes adaptées pour pouvoir échanger avec vous. Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres questions que l'on souhaiterait leur poser? The mic.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. My question will be more on the political side of things, maybe the diplomatic side of things. I am not an ambassador or a diplomatic person, but my feeling is that when we talk about the brand, South Africa brand, my feeling, that's my personal feeling, I may be wrong, but I have the sense that South Africa doesn't play that leadership role that we are expecting, especially when it comes to debating on certain things in the UN, on other African states when they are struggling on some issue. South Africa has always been like quiet. They never play a leadership role. They never support. That's my feeling once again. They never support the other African country. You guys are like isolated in your own comfort, and you don't really care about the other African. That's my feeling. Once again, don't get me wrong, but my feeling is that I wish that South Africa play a more robust role when it comes to defending the other African country rather than just keep you in your comfort zone. That's my feeling here.
Thank you very much. So I wish perhaps in the next session we will be inviting also the Department of International Relations and Corporations, relevant officials who would be able to really speak on South Africa's foreign policy, because South Africa's how South Africa acts in the international space, the multilateral, it's based on the foreign policy of South Africa. Now that is based, such a question, I believe that it really needs a DERCO official who is able to really answer your question on that. But I don't know if maybe you'd have a comment on it.
No, that's correct. I think DERCO would be the relevant people to answer this question. We are the marketing brand agency for South Africa.
No, thank you. We did say that this is a networking session, so we are going to allow everyone after the session to take your contacts. So if you want to get in touch with the brand South Africa for marketing opportunities, we will give you DERCO for political opportunities and so forth. Without a delay, the next speaker for today is Mr. Landry Milingo, who is the president of Ong Biloke, the Book of Peace.